You have put yourself up for election as a school trustee. What and who are you representing and why? Who are you and what are you representing?
So my name is Greg Mack. I've been living in Novato for 45 years. Went to Novato schools, as did my entire family. Still have kids in the district. I think that's important, as 6 of the current board members do not have children in the district any longer. I have served on Novato High's leadership team, San Jose's middle school's leadership team, and spent a lot of time volunteering in the community, primarily with youth athletics, and have spent a lot of time just being aware of the issues. Decided recently I'm finally going to run, even though I've been recruited for the last 6 to 8 years to run, even by some of the current board members. And the real thing is happening now is there's a real convergence happening. The district is getting funding like it never had before, finally, because of the LCFF, which is a local control funding formula that just came in 3 years ago. And the school budget's increasing from $61 million 3 years ago to $79 million this year, and increasing. And we can finally actually start funding the things that haven't been funded for so long. As well, we have new staff. We have a new superintendent, we have a new head of HR, a new head of IT. They're all very qualified people, and we can really take the district to new levels with all that happening. So it seemed like it was a great time to get in and make a difference. And really my priorities are teacher retention. We lose teachers way too fast. We don't hold on to them after we train them for 2 or 3 years, and we lose them to higher paying districts. We need to address that. And not just with pay, but also with the workplace, make it a great place to work. Number 2, the achievement gap. The achievement gap is real, it's still there. We thought we were making progress on it using the old testing formulas, but now the new test that just came out, it's actually worse than we ever thought it was. While we have a lot of point solutions, a lot of ideas, we don't seem to have an overarching strategy for really combating the whole problem at its roots and looking at it from a higher level. So beyond a 1-year plan, need to have more of a 5-year planning approach. The district is always typically focusing on a 1-year plan. Last but not least, facilities. The newest school in the district was built in 1968. The district needs to go through all of its facilities, and some of them actually need to be replaced. We have one school built in the early 1950s, which happens to sit next to our poorest neighborhood, and it's only a matter of time before someone sees that as being not good for the community, which I firmly believe it's not. So, but those are my main things, and extracurricular fits in there as well, because I think that's really important. We need to also, it's part of the achievement gap. Achievement gap is getting every kid involved, getting every kid a reason to go to school every day. And sometimes it's not that 8 to 3 or 8 to 2:30 time frame. It's the time after that that gets them to want to go to school. Whether it's playing music, chess club, sports, something to get them involved.
Right. You selected to put yourself up for election as a school trustee. Please describe the top 3 issues in this race, the importance of each, and how you plan to solve them.
Right, okay, I think we already touched on those, right? So basically it's going to be teacher retention, and while we can work on increasing compensation that's already started, there still more work needs to be done. However, because we're funded differently than the other districts in the county, we increase our salaries, they increase theirs, and they can go a lot further than us because they're better funded. So it becomes an arms race. So we need to do more than just comp. We need to certainly increase comp and make it worth their while to stay with us, but we need to make it a better place to work than any other district in the county. And that involves management, and we have new management which is already on to this, and because we did have a bit of a tough workplace earlier, but now it's been resolved with a new head of HR. But we also need to start using technology that we have available to us and the data that we have available to us, which right now is all siloed in different pieces, and put it all together so that the teachers can actually do a better job of understanding each kid's needs. Because in the Common Core world, it's all about differentiated learning, taking a different approach for every kid, no more cookie cutter classrooms. And that is driven by data as well as training. We have to train the teachers so they can know how to do this. And once again, got to retain them. We can't train them for 2 years and watch them walk out the door. So ultimately, create a workplace where maybe pay isn't the best, but man, why would I want to work anywhere else? Because I get more training here than anywhere else, and I can actually do my job.
Right.
That's key. And I think we can do that. We have the pieces in place. We have a great union. It's just a matter of getting everybody on the same page and pushing it.
Right. This position as a school trustee requires you to govern yourself based on a code of ethics. Why would you say that is?
Yeah, because that's the only way things get done, and it's a great way to. And you need credibility. So I've served on several boards, and while some of them have been, formal school type oriented boards, like the site leadership teams at Novato High and at San Jose Middle School, to be honest, that's nothing compared to having to behave yourself in a Little League board meeting with 20 board members. If you want to see where credibility breaks down or people don't behave with a code of ethics, go to one of those meetings and you'll find why you need to do it, while there needs to be civility. While it's okay to disagree, absolutely okay to disagree, but you vote or you discuss and you vote and you move on. And if you didn't get your way, that's okay. It's just part of the process. So long experience with that, having served in many youth sports activities,
Right.
growing up in that. So.
Right. This position as a school trustee is governed by the California Education Code.
Mm-hmm.
In what way is that governance involved?
Well, it governs what we can do. So we might have some great ideas, but we need to make sure we're compliant with the Ed Code. Now, that's going to be staff quite often keeping us in line, because there might be a great idea that hasn't been done before for good reason, because Ed Code won't allow it. So, seniority rules in the union is a perfect example. Maybe the union might want to revisit that, but if the law says we can't, we can't. So it's obviously, we have that governs what we can do. And while it's important for each individual board member to have a good understanding of Ed Code, truth be told, it's staff that's going to really make sure that governs us, so to speak.
Right. This position as a school trustee has the capacity to harm the community if done inappropriately. Describe what situations would look like if done appropriately as far as you are concerned.
Well, if done appropriately, we can actually move this district into a 21st education. And my whole thing is talking about going from good, or pretty good, to great. Because the district's been underfunded for 30 plus years, largely because we have a different funding formula than the rest of the county. So we're based on bringing in students, more students coming in, the more money we get. But even then, we were underpaid because, once again, the funding formula. Other districts in Southern Marin, they're the exact opposite. They get a set amount, and the more students they have, the worse it is for them. So there's a bit of a balance where other districts don't want kids, we do. So trying to build, in the end, trying to build up our attendance is a key driver of our success and our ability to maintain and pay what we need to pay for a quality education. And as well, though, more than just that, is the community involvement, community buy-in to what we're doing. There needs to be an education process, no pun intended, out to the parents and to the community members that, yes, you might not be going to that school right down the street from you. Maybe you decided to go to a private school, but that school is important to your community because it drives the neighborhood around you. It keeps all the kids involved. It provides a stable environment for kids so they can actually become contributing members to society. And last but not least, and getting as blunt as possible, it supports your property values. If that school goes down, your property values go down. If that goes up, your property values go up. So everybody's in on this, and that's sometimes is lost in the communication process. So a well-run district does a better job of getting that information, that message out to the community.
The position as a school trustee requires you to exercise cooperation with the public and control of yourself. How would you do that, and why do you think that's necessary?
I think it's really important for not just school board members, but every parent in the community to look beyond just their one kid, to look beyond just the kids in their family, to understand why public education is here. And it's here to build the community. It's a public utility. And to have, you need to understand that any policy you put together can impact that. What might be great for one group might not be great for another group. Perfect example is EL kids. or even gate, where
Mhm.
people focus on gate, but they don't look at how the policies that they're driving for gate don't necessarily apply to all kids. They only apply to a certain subset of kids.
Yeah.
And as a result, we end up having a segregation issue.
Mhm.
And that's something that we need to be aware of. Now, in terms of controlling myself, it's a whole different story.
Yeah.
So controlling, you're a public figure.
Mhm.
So whereas you can be pretty loose with your mouth in real life and not have to suffer the consequences of it, you need to think about what you're saying, think about where you're interacting, and think about things before you speak. So yeah, it's important. You can't just, it's not like you are a private citizen as much as you used to be.
Yeah.
There's a certain degree of, got to give up a certain degree of privacy.
Right.
So.
In the nature of public trust, there are funds that are filtered through and used as part of this position. You'd be required to manage such a budget.
Right.
What would be the 3 criteria to ensure that this money is not adversely used?
Let's see. Is it demonstrating results for the kids, and not just one group, but all kids? So that's a key point, and this is where you kind of get into the whole equity versus equality. They're not the same thing. Just spending the same amount of dollars on every single kid in the district is not what you want to achieve. You need to achieve equity. Some kids need more. Some kids don't need as much. There's a great, here, I got it right here. Mary Jane Burke put this together. It's a great picture of it. One side you have equality, the other side you have equity.
Right.
And that really sums it right up. Some kids just need more to get the same amount of benefit. They're coming from a deeper situation. Mom, dad work 4 jobs. The other kid, is a trust baby and has all the money he wants, and so there's different things. So it comes down to equality versus equity, and we need to make sure that we're not looking so much as spending the exact same amount on every single kid, but we're looking at making sure that every kid has the same type of opportunity to achieve, and that involves taking a closer look at where they're coming from and what they need to get to that spot. So if it means changing requirements for getting into certain programs that open it up to more kids, by all means we have to do that. And frankly, we do have some kind of institutional barriers already built that way. STEM program and MSA program don't have a Spanish application. Kind of a big issue. You need to do that. The GATE program, same thing. So, yeah.
All right, Gregory, that was my last question.
Okay.
And we really appreciate it.
Sure. Hope it works.
Yeah.